I'm just going to start talking because that's just how tonight is. Okay. And this wasn't something I sat down and said, okay, this is what I'm going to talk about. Usually I have an idea, but this just came to me. It's just something that I guess has been sitting with me. And if you're listening, I have a feeling you will understand why and maybe even really connect with this personally. So sometimes my 15-year-old autistic grandson's behavior still hurts my feelings. Okay. I've been doing a lot of work on my own nervous system and, understanding myself. But you know what? It still hurts. And I just want to share it and I want to say it out loud right here at the beginning because I think a lot of parents really feel this and then immediately feel like they shouldn't. That's that guilt we feel, right? And I want to share this tonight because this is the work I do. I help parents and I've been through it, but I just want to be clear that the work is always evolving. Like we're always evolving. So, you know, I'm going to talk about it a little bit about, what I experience with him and, how I think about it. And, maybe it'll help you. So those moments, okay, and there are moments where something he says, or maybe the way he says it, or the way he just distances himself, like just maybe totally quiet or ignores me. It just lands, okay? And it's not in a huge, blow up type way, even in my head. It's not dramatic like that. It's just like, just enough that I feel it in my chest for a second. And here's the thing, doing this work, this nervous system work, doesn't mean that ever stops happening. Nervous system work doesn't turn into, you know, this automatically I'm calm and detached and unfeeling version of myself. No, not at all. If anything, I think it makes me more honest about what I feel. And the difference is I don't stay stuck there. And that's why I'm here to share this with you. So, a moment recently, nothing major, of course, just one of those end of the day moments. Okay. He came home from school, clearly just wiped out, just kind of done. Short answers, that sharp tone of voice, a little edge in his voice and that little side eye. Okay. It hit me. And I remember thinking, wow, that kind of behavior, it actually stings. It hurts. And not because he's doing it on purpose. He's not trying to hurt me. He's just human, okay? He's human with human feelings and capacity, okay? That's maybe been reached. And I want to pause here because this is so important. Feeling that sting doesn't mean you're fragile, okay? It doesn't mean you're failing and it just means you're still open to that kind of feeling, right? So, this is where I want to connect this to something bigger. All right. Most of us were taught to look at behavior as something to fix or change or even manage, right? So when our kids shut down or snap, when they avoid, our demands, they withdraw from us or maybe even explode, what do we do? Well, we do what we're supposed to do, go into fixing mode, right? I mean, that's what parents do. So then we start thinking, well, what should I say? What should I do? How do I stop this from happening again? But behavior really isn't the problem because behavior is the information we need. It's a nervous system just communicating something it can't really articulate. It can't, put it into words. And when we don't have that lens, everything feels personal. And that's just the way it is. That's like a human phenomenon. Everything feels so personal. So years ago, I mean, a moment like that would have spiraled for me. I would have definitely taken it personally. I would have reacted, maybe corrected, maybe shut down even myself, right? Because when you don't understand what's underneath, your brain starts filling in the gaps. But now something different happens. Now it's kind of like, okay, that stung. And then I pause. And then I can think where this might be coming from. I separate myself from it. And that kind of awareness is gold if, we can get ourselves to that. Because then the picture just kind of widens. Then there are all different types of possibilities. Then I'm not involved anymore. This is his experience now, and I can see it through that lens. So, okay, then I can look at it and say, oh, maybe it was just a long day of masking, maybe more than usual. Maybe someone said something at school that just stuck and he doesn't even consciously know it, right? Maybe his nervous system is still on high alert and I'm just the safest place for it to like land or, come out. And here's the key part that, I definitely want to share here is that none of that, even if I understand it and I'm aware and I can like, think about this rationally, it doesn't erase my feelings. It just gives my feelings context. And when something has context, it doesn't take over, you know, my whole body and my whole mind and the whole room. So this is kind of the reasons why so many moms feel like nothing's working because honestly, think about it. We've been trying to manage behavior while absorbing the emotional impact that we just talked about. And we don't have a framework for what belongs to them and what doesn't. So everything starts to pile up. And over time, that turns into, burnout and resentment and, self-doubt. And we just don't like ourselves anymore. And maybe we don't even like our kid, some of the time. And not because we don't love them, but because we were never taught how to separate that signal from like what's the story. Okay. So all this being said, if you're new here, I'm Tara. Hey, nice to meet you. I've spent so many years, actually 25 years, supporting autistic kids and families. But let me tell you, this perspective didn't come from a textbook. Okay. It came from living it, messily and perfectly, just unapologetically, and with a lot of unlearning. And that's totally the truth. And I like that word. Okay, unlearning. I had to unlearn a lot about what I was taught, about myself, even about my kids. I had to really learn how to stay connected without like losing myself, maybe like disappearing, whatever connects like with you, what it feels like. So let's go back to that moment with my grandson. Okay, right after that initial sting, something else happened. Can you guess what it is? Okay. Okay. So the sting, we feel it. But guess what? It passed. Once we become so like self aware and aware of it, it passes. Not because I pushed it away, not because I told myself I shouldn't feel it or it's not real or I have to just ignore it or pretend it's not there, but because I didn't build a whole story around it. Okay. I didn't keep it going. I didn't spiral. I didn't make it mean something about me or about our relationship or about the future. And that's the difference. Okay, I want to be really clear about something here. This work isn't about self abandonment. Okay, it's really about authenticity and just becoming sovereign. It's not about swallowing your feelings. It's not about excusing harmful behavior. It's not about being endlessly accommodating. It's really about sovereignty. It's about being able to say, hey, yeah, that hurt. And I don't need to react from it, and I don't need to carry it for the rest of the day. I don't even have to carry it for the next 3 minutes, right? And that's actual strength. So this is and I'm gonna plug this in here right here. I'm gonna I'm gonna tell you, I wrote a book, okay? And I'm really, really proud of it. And this is exactly why I wrote this book. It's called What Your Autistic Child Wishes You Knew. And honestly, it could be, whether you have a 5-year-old or a 10-year-old or a 19-year-old or a 25-year-old. It's not, I didn't write it because parents need more strategies. I wrote it because these moments need context. Okay. So let me tell you, mom messaged me after reading it. She was like so excited and she wanted me to know, what she thought of it. And she just said, I loved it. I'm going to read it a second time. and I just can't wait to read it again. But she said, it felt like I was getting a big hug. Like everything is okay. It felt hopeful. It felt warm. It just felt like, yes, this is it. And I thought, wow, that's the shift. That's it. So just want to let in closing here, because I could probably just go on and on and on. But you know what? These moments, I just want to let you know they still happen. No matter how far into the work you are, it's ever evolving and feelings are still going to pop up. You know, I'm going to have hard days. My grandson still has hard days. I still feel things. The difference is they don't take me under anymore. They move through me instead of sticking to me. Okay, if that makes sense. They come in, I feel them, I become aware, and then I'm like, okay, what's going on here? And it just moves through me. And that changes how I show up.